Good morning, YouTubers. It's 4 a.m. Mountain Time. Here we are in state of Utah, USA. This is Dr. Dual Sport, and I'm out this morning. I'm riding for the Sink the Planet. I'm riding with those other riders all over the world. Rabbit, jackrabbit. Anyway, another jackrabbit. We're riding this morning in the name of world peace. I know that we all wish that we could have peace in the world, that the wars could come to an end, and the suffering, great suffering. In thinking about the people of the world, I wanted to tell you a little bit about a person who was a very good friend of mine that passed this last year. And that is my father. His name was Boris. He was 95 years old, and just 1 year ago in June, he and I were able to take a trip to Washington, D.C. with the Utah Honor Flight group. Anyway, we are the Utah Honor Flight is a group that raises money to send the veterans back so that they may see the World War II memorial. Most of the group that were on the trip, I think the average age was probably well up into the 90s. My dad was the oldest one there, except for one other who happened to be a woman who was in waves in World War II. But as a young man growing up, my dad he didn't talk much about the war, but as the years went by, he began to talk a little bit more, and I just wanted to share a couple, 3 stories, and then give you his view on world peace. Just prior to World War II, the United States instituted a draft system, and my father was the first person to be drafted into the Army from our area. He was just 2 weeks shy of completing his term. It was a 1-year term. When on December 7th, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. So needless to say, he was not released from the Army at that time. He ended up spending some more time in the Army and was actually overseas for 3.5 years. He was in 5 D-Day invasions: North Africa, Sicily, Italy, southern France, and the Battle of the Bulge, which went into Germany. That time, that 3.5 years overseas really changed Dad. How would you like to go 3.5 years without taking a bath or a shower? All they had was they had they would heat water for them, and then they would fill up their steel pot, and then they could take like sponge bath and shave or whatever the best they could. No, that was it. But it really changed Dad. When he was in North Africa, when they would go through the chow line, he said that the little Arab boys would line up there, and as they scraped their trays, they would hold out a can, and so that they could, hopefully they would scrape a little morsel of food there that they could have something to eat. They were starving to death. After it broke his heart. After North Africa, they went into Sicily, did the landing on the beach with amphibious personnel carriers. They had their trucks all waterproofed, the engines and everything, and then snorkel tubes to where they could drive in at low tide and make it up onto the beach. At that time, my dad was in a medical battalion. He was in the headquarters detachment. He was the battalion motor sergeant. So he was over 106 vehicles. I think they had 26 ambulances, and all your deuce and a halfs, 5 tons, whatever. That next day, the captain came to him and he said, "Sergeant, one of the vehicles didn't make it in there. I want you to go out and assess the damage and see what we can do to save that vehicle." So he walked out. It was at low tide again. He walked out to this vehicle, and when he inspected it, he found that being submerged by the salt water overnight, the windshield wiper motor and the carburetor, which were made out of pot metal, were completely dissolved. They were toast. So he determined that they were not going to be able to save that vehicle. Just at that point, he heard a noise and looked up, and here came a airplane. And then he heard the sound of a bomb falling. He hit the deck, and the next thing he knew, he woke up, and he was laying on his back. His legs were hanging over the edge of a huge crater. It had blown off his steel pot. His ears were ringing, and he had the worst headache he'd ever had, and he was shaking uncontrollably. He said that his ears were ringing for several weeks, and every time a plane would come over, he would just start to shake. He was so terrified that. But he also said that maybe that was a good thing that happened to him so early in the war, because later on, when they were in southern France, they would camp each night, and then every night they would have what he would call Bed Check Charlie. And Bed Check Charlie was when the Germans would come over with a bombing raid, and you never knew where they were going to hit. And anyway, the planes came over, and they heard the bombs drop. And after the commotion quit and things settled down, he had a friend by the name of Brumsby, and he says, "Let's go out and see what the damage was." And my dad says, "No way. I'm not going anywhere." Every night, since he was blown up that first time, he had dug his own personal foxhole on the edge of the tent. And so that was a lot of holes to dig, because a lot of times they would move every day or every few days, because they were a mobile hospital. Anyway, he said that he dug his foxhole right on at the edge of the tent. He says, and it was deep. So he stayed in that night. His friend went out to see what had happened, and the planes came back over, and his friend was killed that night. One thing that Dad always told me is how good the people were in Europe, no matter where they went. When they were in Sicily, after they landed there, Mount Vesuvius had erupted, and there were like a foot of ash all over the road. So they had to put snowplows. They had to put snowplows on the trucks to push the roads. Sicily had been bombed so heavily that the people there, their homes were gone, and they were actually living in one area. They were living in some catacombs under the city there. And he met a family, and then they invited him into their home, which was down in the catacombs, and fed him dinner. Later on, after they did Sicily and then Italy. They were in Italy. They went about halfway up through Italy, and then they were bogged down against the mountains there in a stalemate. They were there all winter long, and then the next year they went up through Italy, and then after that came the Battle of the Bulge, which you've all heard about. It's one of the most long, fierce battles. Then they finally got into Germany, and then it was like a slow push up through there to. When Dad ended up, he was in Munich, Germany. And at that time, he visited the Dachau prison camp. He told me that the visit to that camp changed his life. Up until that time, he knew that we were fighting the enemy, but he didn't really know. He didn't fully understand why, until he visited the Dachau camp. He said that you could, the stench of that place, the human flesh, rotting human flesh, you could smell it for 20 miles away. And he said that after visiting there, he had the most awful taste in the back of his mouth, and he said he was spitting for 2 weeks. It was just nauseating. And he actually had a few original photographs of some of the emaciated bodies. And so so for any of those wackos that say the Holocaust did not happen, I say, hey, come see me. I have original photos. When Dad was in Munich, he he met a fellow by the name of Fritz, German. He was a baker, and he had actually been over in the U.S. prior to the war, and that's where he had his training to become a baker. Dad loved the people of Europe, all of them, and he said that out of all of the people that he had met, he liked the Germans the best. He thought they were the most like us. But he also said that, but you could not trust them because they had been forced to lie in order to stay alive. So anyway, my opinion, people all over the world are good. We all need to do more good things each day. Do what we can to lift up others. Do what we can to be kind. Do what we can to help others. And if we start with ourselves individually, it can cause a snowball effect that will reach others and inspire them that they might also have that attitude and picked up that practice. And through this way, I think it's the only way that we can achieve world peace. We can't achieve it by some huge government making us. It's got to come from the heart. So anyway, it's been fun riding with you this morning, and it was just last September. I can't believe that my dad's been gone. He passed on April 7th. Last September, 2 days after his 95th birthday, I went on a horse ride with him out in the mountains, and I made a little video of that. It's called How Much Horsepower Is Enough. I'll put a little note in the description if you'd like to watch that YouTube video. He talks about his early days growing up, helping with sheep herd. He talks about his military service, and he tells a little bit about his first motorcycle, which was a 1937 Knucklehead. Anyways, fun times. I miss Dad, but it's okay. I so admire his service, and my hand goes out to all the servicemen from all of the countries. Thank you for your service in trying to maintain the global peace, and my heart is with you. Thank you all for riding with us together this morning. I can feel the energy, and I hope that this thing just keeps getting bigger each year and keeps spreading the word that we all need to be good. We need to treat others good. We need to treat everyone with respect. I'll leave that word with you. This is Dr. Dual Sport, out.